Yeah, making my way up what I call the Charcoal Road Trail here. So it's about maybe 2/10 of a mile up from the GeoCache. And I'm trying to find my cutover spot to the other ridge. Okay, after looking around a bit more, I think this is my cut across spot. There's just a really faint little trail. I think those are my footprints from a couple of weeks ago. Just kind of marched across the top of this gully, but you can see how steep that is down below. And you can't go up above any farther because it's just brush. So there's like a little faint trail here. So I gotta find my way over to the next ridge. Okay, yeah, that was my little trail. It's a much more distinct, although pretty sketchy over here. That's where I started out when I went back the other time. But it gets very sketchy up around this tree here. We swing over this way, here's the other ridge. So yeah, this is where I was about 3 weeks ago. And yeah, at least the sky is clear. So I think I'm gonna start heading down this ridge. I gotta get my hillshade map centered up. As I go down, I wanna try to zigzag sort of over the nose of the ridge and just see if I see any signs of the trail. Because it looks like the trail is maybe off on this side, but then there's some signs that it's on top. I've got to keep evaluating the slope and the terrain. I might have to bail out and come back up here, but my goal is to go all the way down to the bottom there. So let me show you where I am on the hillshade map here. Okay, so the blue dot there is where I am. The top is at the bottom of the map. So south on the map is the top of the ridge. I'm just below Charcoal Road there. And I'm just going to head down the nose of this ridge. And if you look there, there's like little faint traces of what looks like an old trail coming up the hill. There's some traces on the right side of that ridge, but then there's also things that look like it crosses over, like towards the bottom there. Looks like there's maybe a switchback or two. Very faint, and I'm shooting for that the highest up of the blue traces there because that's where I could cross the creek and then go out the other side and follow my track up and out of there. Okay, that's that gully that's off to my right. You can just see it's just chock full of down trees, and it's really steep down there. So I kind of came down on the top edge of those trees, came across here, and look what I ran into. Right there. That's the trail. Wow. So it is here. Yeah, I just kind of figured I'll just zigzag back and forth down this ridge. And boom, there it is. So I'm going to follow this down a ways and see where it goes. Okay, yeah, there was kind of a nice sort of open space. A lot of rock, loose rock on the ground. So I guess that's why there's not a lot of trees or brush growing in there. And then I see a faint mark on the map, like there's a switchback down here. So this was the canyon above where I stopped. And then I think the place I was right down in here. And then there's the canyon below there. And there's signs of that trail sort of going down here into this canyon a little ways, making a switchback. Yeah, so I've got to look around. I'm worried that this trail coming down here might get me behind that big wall of trees that I stopped at 3 weeks ago. Because that doesn't do me any good. If I come out above that wall of trees, getting through there would be pretty tough. Maybe I'll go down to this clump of trees and see if I can look down a little farther too. Okay, yeah, it's getting pretty steep down here. The trail looks like, at least on the map, like it went off that way and then it came back down here. But if you look down here, that mass of down trees is the wall of trees I ran into. And it's just like the whole canyon here is just full of down trees. According to the mark on the hillshade map, I was right down that way. So I think I'm just going to try to angle down this hill and stay above all these down trees. Okay, according to the hillshade map, this is that mark that I can see on the ground here of the trail, and then it kind of disappears down in here. But here's the top of the wall of down trees. I mean, this is probably one of the ones that started it here. Looks like a whole bunch of trees fell down here. Look at this, all open. There's just one tall redwood tree there, and then otherwise it's wide open. But all of those trees that were up here are now down on the ground. So I think I can follow this ridge around. There's a really steep drop off here, and kind of head around there, and hopefully I can get down to the creek. This might have been one of the trees that started the cascade of falling trees. There's another broken one here. This one went right down the ridge here. Looks like it took out a tree down there. And yeah, it looks like I can get down through here and stay on the ridge. The ridge humps along right here. It gets steep over there, and it gets full of trees over there. I think I can make it down, at least until I can see a little farther, so we'll keep going. Yeah, I sort of followed down, trying to get around all the down trees, and I got down here, and this was the clump of trees I stopped at a couple of weeks ago, and so I made my way over this old rotten log here, and look at that. Here's the old trail right down there. I'm not sure how it got from here up. You know, it's just impassable that way, but there's where you can cross the creek. This is the only place I've found where you can get down to the creek on one side and you can get up on the other side. But yeah, hooked up my loop. I wanted to do that this spring just so I remembered what this looked like over here. And if I hadn't have been down here, I wouldn't know this spot from any other spot. But yeah, this is it. So I wanted to do it while I still remembered what this was like down here, and I still remember how to get out of here. That's not easy either. You have to know the right way to go. Like I have to go along here and then find that gully and go up, and then you got to take the trail out, and then down the ridge, and then back down the canyon trail to my bike. There is a loop here. Now the next one I got to do, I'll need a little more time to search, is see if I can get up to the top there on Charcoal Road and find the trail down this other side of the canyon. That would be a bigger loop, because I'd go up the trail, up Charcoal Road, and then come all the way down here, and then down to the canyon trail. That's going to take a little bit of exploring, and I figure I didn't have enough time this year, so I figured check this one off the bucket list. This is a cool little loop, and it's actually not that bad. I wouldn't want to go up, because this hill is incredibly steep, and even though the soil is moist, there's stretches of it that's just hard as rock. You just slide. And going up would be, wow, that would be a killer trying to go up this thing. But yeah, coming down makes it a really nice loop. So let me show you on the hillshade map where I'm at. Okay, there we are on the hillshade map. You can see the blue dot is where I am, and the blue track is where I was 3 weeks ago. So all I got to do is follow the upper one of those blue tracks. The lower one is when I was down below, and that is not the way to go. So I got to follow my track out on the upper one and then get up to the trail where it straightens out there a little bit. I go up that gully and then take a right, go down the trail, and then down the ridge, and then back to the canyon trail, and then I got to get back down to where my bike is over there. So that was a pretty big loop. I think I'll sign off here, and I got to get across the creek, and then I got to follow my tracks up here. So yeah, glad I had the hillshade map working, and then I've got the track on Osmand so I can find my way out of here. This week it's sunny, so I figured go for it. It's the last weekend before it starts getting hot up here, and probably don't want to be climbing around up here when the ticks are out and the poison oak is growing like crazy. So I'm going to call it quits here. So Hope you enjoyed that. I'll cut in a screenshot of Gaia GPS with the route that I followed, or the track, and then I'll put the stats for the loop here. Really cool. I might have to do this again. This is kind of neat. Now that I know it goes through, it's just follow my track down here and follow my track out of here. Hope you enjoyed that, and as always, thanks for watching.